Outsiders not very good at it. For OG, they stand pretty strong. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, let's stop talking. It's time to shoot heads. It's time to watch Counter-Strike. It's time for OG versus Outsiders. It is indeed the European side of OG picking into this map. They start on the T side, Outsiders on the CT side. Let's jump into it. No more talking. Let the 10 players on the server do the work. A shot at Rio at the end of this BO3. Winners are guaranteed a slot in Brazil. Let's see who gets it.
Yeah, and of course, as you mentioned, with this veto leaning in favour of Outsiders, OG a strong start in on the T side. They might just rush towards B early doors.
I mean, certainly thought about it. It's a triple stack from Outsiders, aggressive towards Cave. Oh man, OG.
This is smart.
Someone's done their demo reviewing. They know all too well about Cave pressure. They seem so aware. Some noise being made. Now it's all the util being lobbed in. The penny has been dropped. OG are taking B. And actually, they're going to be given quite a free passageway on site here. Dexter tries to stick around to catch off the flank. Norbert with the Julies wins that engagement 9 times out of 10. Neofrag and flameZ looking to get aggressive here in the face of Norbert. Nothing to come from it. It's OG that stemmed the man down.
It's great utility because giving them the side, but of course, they're so cautious of Norbert, and he's going to find himself yet one more. Flames for the trade, but still numbers favour Outsiders. They've got space to work with. As the smokes dissipate, they can pick them apart. Jame and Fame, the dynamic duo, and Qikert will see things off. It's Outsiders to kickstart things here in this best of 3. And OG's map pick, they get a first round on CT.
That was really well sculpted from Outsiders there, right? The cave control wasn't too in the faces of OG. Had it have been fast, OG read into that, right? It's Norbert that pushes in late with the Julies. They then try and flank the OG side, come back through cave, take the aggression elsewhere. Once you've got the site, sure, bomb plant is going to be good for them. However, that round could have gone so much differently. If flameZ got the kill early on, it's a 4v4. The dust settles. Outsiders are locked out because of the 2 smokes. That round plays so differently if Norbert doesn't stay alive.
Exactly.
Brilliantly done by him. OG going to respond with a force buy.
The mid-round call there's brilliant, right? As you mentioned, that is all hinging on the success of Norbert. If Norbert falls, game over, right? But the fact that he doesn't, staying alive means that Jame, making that call, can just stay back. Oh no, Qikert, money in the bank, baby, gets a double. Norbert gonna make one more too, but that's so comfortable. They just hold W.
And OG, they don't know how to respond to that. They let the smokes go up and they'll sit behind them accordingly. Flames and nexa. Between them, some damage needs to be done. Make sure Outsiders are punished for getting in the faces of the OG players. Fiku, Neofrag, Dexter, all without a kill so far. It's only flameZ that's met the kill feed in favour of OG. But at the end of the day, Outsiders having won the pistol. Your force buy from OG is always going to be second best to whatever Outsiders bring forward. Just more money on that CT side. You're starting to see that that is certainly the case. 55 seconds. Any damage here, any exits would be good for OG.
Yeah, as you mentioned, right? I mean, finding a little bit of damage towards Outsiders, I mean, opens a conversation there. But yeah, this round seems done and dusted already. Nice aggression from Qikert. He holds W through cave. It's so simple. Nets and 2 kills. Bit of money in the bank too. The swing off the back of it gets Norbert one more. Let's take a little trying to find some space over towards ramp. This is very difficult right now. The swing coming through. Trying to clear that copy position is going to be the first toss. Norbert the fault. Jame goes 1 for 1, but Qikert will see things out. It was lightning fast into the site. Damage dealt by OG with 2 kills. But Outsiders see out the round for a second.
Yeah, that was brilliant from Qikert there. Just so aggressive. Standing on top of the molly. Takes a fair bit of damage, but really nicely done. Outsiders walk away with a second round. OG back to whatever they can afford, really, on the eco. It's Deagles, it's Glocks, it's whatever. But it's going to be Outsiders looking pretty good for a third. One thing I'm disappointed in, though, right? I'll admit to this. OG, the fact that we have no player cams and no team cams here on the C stream, I just can't see Dexter just whopping hands. You know, like how he fist bumps his team. He like elbow drops his teammates every single round. I think it's flameZ that has to put up with it.
Yeah, he destroys Flame's hand.
I remember seeing an interview and Flames is like, yeah, dude, like, I don't know. It's hard, like, you know, he doesn't do it lightly, but it warms my hand up.
There we go.
what a cute response.
Ready, start, Qikert. 2 more to his name. These MP Irons are collecting so much money in the bank from behind Fiku. Dink down, 12 points of HP. It's probably pretty safe to say this round's done. It's 1 man versus 5. He's got 12 points of HP, a deal and no armor. No utility either, so isolating fights is going to be difficult. Staying alive is going to be even harder. Spotted out, Flick going for a peek. trying to bend bullets around the wall. This one's done here. For OG, it was just a small investment because this was basically just an eco. They forced bought in towards the previous, didn't work in their favor, and of course, most importantly, no bomb plant means that their economy never really builds up in a strong manner. But now's the full test. Now's the true test of where we can see what OG can bring to the table. Quad AK-47, 1 AWP on display. Bit of utility as well for OG. This is one that has to be converted, but James as well, also having the AWP is a scary prospect.
Let's see how OG acts on this T side now they've got the rifles. As flameZ looking for the early mid presence, Neo frag. Gonna hear the nades whistling over his head. No substantial damage done. Instead, the first engagement taken by Norbert. He's second best. Qikert and Jame, both with kills. It's nexa that walks away to give OG a 3 versus 3, but the player's a lot healthier on that CT side. Jame repositioning with the AWP out on long. And a very electric start to round number 4 here from OG. Sure, without context, the 3v3 is good. One of the low HP players eliminated, so actually now down to the 2v2. But Outsiders just living a little bit healthier. flameZ and Jame. No kits. Don't particularly want to leave this one down to the post plant. Still a minute to work with here for OG as well, so they don't have to rush hastily into a decision on where they want to plant. It's just slow. Very, very methodical, maybe. Who's going to walk into where?
Oh, flameZ, stay, don't go right. You're going to be met with an AWP. Next holding, he's waiting for overextension. If flameZ holds down the 4, he wins the round, but if he moves back over towards CT, he gets caught by the AWP. This is really on a knife's edge. flameZ, just stay alive and you win the round. But 25 seconds to work with, a decision has to be made. There it is. flameZ stood his ground and he finds a double. Nexa and flameZ to fall. Guarantees success once further towards Outsiders. And it's one man stepping up again. We saw Norbert doing the pistol. And this time flameZ, the old K23 boys are starting to find their position comfortably in towards Outsiders as it's a 4-0 start. And a really good start as well. It got a little bit dicey in towards that mid part of that round. But back in the 2 versus 2, all it was a case of standing the ground. And for flameZ, patience is a virtue.
Let's run it up. Round number 5, OG. Tried it fast towards B. Outsiders seem to have a response for everything right now. What's whirring in the mind of nexa? The call for early cave control fizzles out quite quickly. Qikert. He's doing ever so well. Oh, mate. flameZ sitting in that smoke. Yeah, as it starts to fade, I was going to say. flameZ is dead meat. Qikert collects his second of the round. OG, no response to that. Outsiders already showing their dominance and control here on the CT side. What I'd like to note as well, being OG's map pick and being on the T side start, I feel like there's a lot of pressures out of their hands in the first 15. Fiku, certainly not feeling any kind of pressure. flameZ applying it though towards Donut. A 1-for-1 is good enough for Outsiders. Point being, you know, in the second half, that's where you expect the majority of the rounds for OG to come in. As long as they survive here on this T side, I think everyone at home that wants them to win will be quite happy with, you know, a 10-5, even an 11-4 at some stages. We've seen OG do a pretty monster job on the CT side. I was looking at round distribution right for them on Ancient, and actually, you'd be surprised to know how good it is for that OG side. They've been pretty capable on Ancient with some serious comebacks. Their T side has always been monstrous though. They've been picking it first. They've been ruining teams.
That's it. I mean, it's been a slow start for OG, but you know, one thing I wanted to highlight, we didn't really touch on it too much in the pre-game, but you mentioned kind of flameZ and how great he's been, and he's been stunning in this tournament thus far. 1.45 rating is a ridiculous showing, but I gotta highlight Fiku too. He's actually not that far behind, 1.35 so far this event. I mean, he's got to be comfortably in the top 10 so far in the RMR. And credit to him, I think Fiku coming towards this roster, a lot of people expected Neofrag to be kind of the guy who brings the stats and he brings all kind of the headlines, right? But it's actually been Fiku. Fiku's been fantastic. He only came in as just, you know, a rifler to play on this sort of more of those lurk roles, where for Neofrag is a bit more of a hero position, you know, coming from Sinners, where he was the standout player for a long time, you know, dominating the tier 2 circuit kind of individually under Sinners, especially when they were struggling, right? But it's actually been Fiku who's been fantastic. For me, I've been really impressed with what he's done. He seems to have found a home really well at OG, so I'm glad to see him performing. But they need to start performing now. They are 5-0 down on their map pick. And I gotta say, this best of 3 goes in turmoil if Ancient doesn't go the way of OG, because you just don't want to play CIS sides on Dust 2. They were born and raised on Dust 2.
Born on the streets of D2. Especially the Outsiders team.
Yeah.
I think back to...
They're so good on Dust 2, man. You don't want to play them on it at all. Like, it's a scary thought to play Jame on Dust 2.
Yeah.
They're so good on it. And the K23 boys, too. I mean, in Tier 2, we know all too well, right, how they dominated the scene for a long time.
That is true.
Just pugging Dust 2. I mean, no one could touch them for a long, long time. So, to be perfectly honest, I think... OG got to get very worried about how this veto's fared up. And even then, if they take this, then it's Inferno, which is Outsiders' usual first pick. There's got to be a little bit of nerves kicking in, right?
Well, I mean, for OG, I think they're just going to be taking it a step at a time, you know? Focus on Ancient now.
Get around.
Veto, well, yeah. Bit disrespectful, man, come on. Oh, this
Hang on a
smoke, I
second.
like it. Gap, bottom right, Qikert looking to exploit it.
They know.
OG, yeah, I think they're all too wary of that one. flameZ, late towards middle, very late. There's only 30 seconds left, and now they assume mid-control. Qikert going to back away. As the smoke starts to fade, it's OG that takes space and tried to take the place. Qikert sticks around. Degstealth one with the AWP. 20 seconds though. That bomb, it needs to move forward. Norbert, the sole defender of B, needs to stand like a stallion, but he's dropped like a fly. And flameZ, he more or less seals the fate for OG to find that first. Disrespect maybe we threw at OG, you know. How are we not winning a round? No pistol, no first fall buy. They've got rifles again. This time it's a lot more demanding and a lot more punishing for this Outsiders side. The AWP's dropped. Flip might go running in to try and take it away from the OG hands, but it's important that OG pocket a first round, and they do exactly that.
Yeah, I don't think Flit's actually going to pick it up. I think all Flit is going to do is bodyguard it. He's going to make sure nobody picks it up, which I think is a really good way to play this. As long as an AWP doesn't go in Dex's hands, Outsiders are always going to have a slight advantage. Because if James wielding the AWP, even Fame as well, secondary AWP, absolutely fine. Norbert the same thing as well. We've seen him wield it a couple of times. So all things considered, I think the way they're standing right now is just keep the AWP out of the hands of OG. Holding, dinking, and a find off to the bomb. Just about making that one work. So a first round for OG, which is a really positive thing to see. We are on a slight tech pause, ladies and gentlemen, just a heads up as to why we're back on our faces. 5-1 though for OG. They're finally finding a little bit of success. Unneeded, right? You look towards Ancient, one of the most CT-sided, probably actually not even one of the most CT-sided map in the competitive pool as of right now. And you make assumptions of kind of what you want to see when it comes towards the T side, right? Is it kind of 5 rounds, 6 rounds? Even 6, I think, is a little bit out there. I think, you know, 5 rounds is pretty good, all things considered.
OG getting there first is pretty important, though, because I think it counts as a lot of the momentum that the CT side would have held, right? Outsiders, 5 rounds consecutively. It was the pistol, it was the follow-up, it was the full buy.
Yeah.
And they got the eco afterwards as well, right? Those are your first 5 rounds. And from there, OG, already the questions start to flood in, right? Because, as I was saying, although their CT side is pretty strong and they know how to close out maps, it is, in fact, the majority of the rounds that they win on Ancient come from the T side, right? Yes. Actually, 56% of won rounds of OG on Ancient come from the T side. And they're very good at converting rounds from the 5v4s, right? They've got over a 3 in 4 chance of converting from the T side in a 5v4. And to me, that screams like OG know how to play this map. Outsiders control the early pace. OG maybe not expecting it, but if we can start to see, you know, that round win previously where players are thinking about things, they're letting the Outsiders team burn utility, those are all factors that kind of contributed Outsiders to go, do you know what? We have to save this round. There's no point us going for it.
That's it. Absolutely spot on. We'll have to wait and see how things pan out when we get back in towards the game. But so far, I would say probably not the greatest of starts but for OG, but we're seeing moments of brilliance. Individuals starting to step up a little bit. We mentioned Fiku's name, but same for flameZ. He's the reason, essentially, why they got that first round on the board. He found a kill in towards mid, he opened up the space, and they were able to split over towards that B site. It's simple, it's effective, but it's kind of, for OG, like you mentioned earlier, it's about taking things step at a time, right? Taking, you know, one step, one brick at a time to building that wall that is a strong T side. And that's where we see kind of an opening kill in towards mid, which allows them space in towards that position, wrapping on towards the B site, getting a bit of excavation control, small things that have become so hard to find thus far. And of course, on the other side, that's credit to how we've seen Outsiders play, right? I mean, their cave control has been fantastic. Norbert's been doing a really good job. I mean, even when Qikert comes in to support too with the MP9s, he's been pretty dominant too. So we are just about to get back on the way in towards the game. I think all of our issues are done and dusted, and we can get the show back on the road momentarily. But so far, if you're Outsiders, you're looking pretty comfortable.
Yeah, it's Ancient. We should be jumping back into things, no worries whatsoever. Apologies for the technical delays, people. Just a quick one, get it straight out of the way, done and dusted. And we wouldn't have missed a round. I do believe there was actually a tech pause called at the start of that one, which is why we cut back to us, fixed it up, got back into the action, and we haven't missed a beat here on Ancient. OG down by 4, but it is 5-1 as of right now. Still plenty of rounds to play out, though, for OG on that T side. As we said, ultimate goal for OG, probably 5 rounds. We know that they're pretty good at making things work, especially on their pick of Ancient. Let's jump back into things, though. Round 7 is another full buy for the Outsiders team.
Yeah, flameZ again. That succession towards mid has been crucial to them getting a little bit of space. Going to try and look for it once further. Smoked out of ramp. That's a really awkward position for them. Now rapping becomes all the more difficult, and donut control is going to be even harder to find. Brilliant flash, little swing, but it's a messy spray and he gets punished for it.
Brilliantly taken care of by nexa, and look at this. Usually it's OG to play passive in these scenarios. Instead they wanted to put pedal to the metal, get straight out towards donut. 4 players positioned towards the A side of the map right now. Well, in fact, all 5. It's neofrag that kind of lurks late in middle here, but they are ready to execute this A site. James has rotated around with the AWP, but he thinks it's just a hoax. OG have rung in for the memes rather than for real. James ready on the AWP. Fame here to assist him as well. Smoke lands at Fame's feet. The clunk of metal to flesh certainly will give away the position, but they don't expect it. A complete oversight giving James and Fame a kill each. The AWP still kicking in Temple as well, but enough space to plant that bomb.
That's what matters. Bomb goes down, post spawn, set up, numbers even too. Nexa escaping here is going to be difficult. Holding out towards Temple. He's expecting the rotation of the AWP, but flameZ has a gap in the smoke and he punishes. Norbert to 4. The numbers go in favour of OG. And that second round is knocking.
If I've ever seen an outsider save call, it would be in a scenario like this. No kits, no utility, only a single flashbang between them. And indeed, James is just going to hang up the mouse and keyboard for the remainder of this round. Allow OG to get up to a second. But punctual with that save call. M4, if it wins a fight, yeah, maybe we'll look for it. James still looking around with the AWP as well, sniffing out where the OG players stand. Ultimately, OG know better than to give him something. It's very nicely taken care of. And a second on the board now for OG. Outsiders realising, recognising. Hold on a minute, there's a little bit of an issue here. OG have won 2 in a row. Our money's looking pretty low. They call a timeout. Accordingly, as you can see, our impact player of round 7, flameZ, doing ever so well, right? 200 damage, 2 kills. He opens up the site, wins them the round basically on his own. 6 kills in 7 rounds for flameZ, and considering it's 5-2 as well, he's put in one hell of a shift.
I'm impressed. flameZ is stepping up, right? I mean, he's kind of that person who you need to find a lot of that success when it comes towards entries. That's what flameZ is always good for as well. We look back onto his endpoint, the same thing. He was the impact player, the rifle who took a lot of those hero roles, the guy who's always looking for initial points of contact, and that's exactly what we see once again. And we see how important mid control is to the success of OG. This time out, it's mid control that wraps towards the A side, but it works all the same. When they get donut control, it seems like there's only one thing on their mind. Getting that bomb down over towards A, getting the post bomb set up. So, all things considered, very, very good. This time, testing towards ramp. neofrag's gone aggro.
I see Norbert taking big damage. neofrag chucking the nade in, trying to finish the job. Shrapnel not going to pick up. All the lead dispersed around short, not enough to take down Norbert. James as well positioned with the AWP. Going aggressive as well. Look at his positioning on site. See the little 0 dot on the minimap? neofrag making a step, but they want to back away from B. James looking to get aggressive. This is it now. Outsiders realising we've got lesser weaponry. We have to get funky with what we want to do.
Yeah, going aggro is the right call, because even if you get an early engagement, that's fantastic. It's about information. They want to just have a decent understanding about what's coming their way, and hence why we see that rotation coming back over towards the A side, or it was, in fact, before Norbert doubles back. He's going to stay over towards B. Now he's committing to the rotation. The right call. Needs to go and join up with the other 2 who are tucked in towards donut. And just Pop's coming through. 35 seconds on the clock, and in comes the util.
Here we go. A play, flashes over the top, Molotov behind the big box. Norbert sitting deeper on this A site than that. A more passive approach taken by outsiders. They wanted to play for the retake. They've got their wish that OG do indeed try and test them on the alpha site. Rotate's going to happen now from Qikert and James. Whoa.
Hang on.
A knife. flameZ's just stabbed Dexter. That's what you get for hitting my hand too hard last round, dude. Have that, son. OG, a third of the clock burnt out. flameZ making up for mistakes. He's able to take down Flick. Qikert responds. Dexter swings out at good timing, and the tune is just blaring in OG's favour right now. A very, very sweet symphony to end out round 8. It's OG's third in a row, and they reset that Outsiders economy. Nice shot from James, looking to save the AWP, of course, once more, but I don't think he's going to allow it here, Neofrag. In fact, no. Just to be able to slip away with the one. Big damage, Dexter. Oh, actually, the last man left. Nexa died to the bomb. Ultimately, though, OG don't care about that. They've got a third, and they're playing the game of chase.
What time is it, ladies and gentlemen? Everyone with me now. Game time. Is he going to keep that AWP in play? That is the right call, I think, there. There's no way they're getting back in towards that site. But what we do see as well is that when OG get a post-spawn set up, there becomes a sort of hesitation from Outsiders to kind of test those waters. Tech pause to be called, the investment in towards round. This next round is going to be pretty minimalistic, all things considered, for the Outsiders, because they haven't really got money to work with. Even forcing around the AWP is very risky. They might stop for a couple of pistols and use them as sort of cannon fodder to get JM on the scoreboard a little bit here, get a couple of picks, potentially a couple of dropped rifles, because I see forcing into this next round as a massive risk, which probably isn't worth it. Failed to convert it back into a double eco situation. It's a kind of a horrible scenario for them to be a part of. For OG, much better on their T side. They've got a real good opportunity to get another round, and potentially even on top of that as well, tying this game up in a further approach. So we'll have to wait and see if they are going to force in. Now, this is very risky. Fail to convert or fail to find any success here for Outsiders, and they're into an eco in the next round, which more or less gifts OG the ability to tie this game back up, if not take it further with momentum.
Round 9. It's a force buy around the AWP. Bear that in mind. It was one weapon save now. They had triple loss bonus on Outsiders. They could have just kept an eco and bought in the next. Instead, they want to try and give the AWP a bit of a platform to stand on. Personally, I don't think that's the play whatsoever. I think that's a complete misjudgment, a complete oversight for Outsiders. I mean, sure, there is an M4 that's invested as well. For me, though, I think that's a massive roll of the dice.
It is.
Lose this round, like, your money is gone. James, he has 2.6k. He's going to have to eco anyway if he wants the AWP in the next round. You allow OG to tie the game up, where if you want to play a little more structured, you want to be a little looser, take an eco in this round, buy in the next. That's where you'll have good chances. Instead, Flit, going to try and shut me up. It's nexa eliminated. Neofrag takes a fair chunk of damage as well, but he's able to respond, and the Echoes not left silent here. OG just keeping them on their toes here, trying to poke at the hive's nest here of Outsiders.
Trying. Norbert tucked him under the eagle as well. I mean, already damaged out is a kind of a perfect start when it is just that sort of minimalistic investment. With low HP over towards Neofrag, it becomes a possibility. But James had to hit that shot, and it had to be a kill, not a leg. Fiku down to 29, but the bomb should be able to go down. Fame from above, though, denies. One to come his way. Instant trade, and flameZ making a double.
Of course, who better than flameZ? Bomb plant to come out. Neofrag taken down. 5-7. It's flameZ for a hat-trick. Brilliant, brilliant round. The king wears his crown. OG up to 4. What a spam from flameZ there. In on long. Right through the smoke. Blasts them both down. And do you know what? That was based purely off of instincts. Because look, when flameZ starts shooting, they're trying to disassemble the boost. Like, already the M4 had slipped off the shoulders of the player down below. And flameZ still manages to sniff them both out. Brilliantly done. OG up to 4.
As I mentioned, off the back of it, look at what we see coming out from Outsiders. Not a lot. They all been played for James, but the support around it is so brutal. They're really rolling the dice once further. The pistol's coming out. They're trying to make something work off the back of it, but that's going to ask a lot. Nade will come through and a chunk of damage on towards Qikert.
You're starting to see OG of the team setting the tone now. They're the ones in control of what's being played. They're the ones in control they want to do. It's James buying an AWP on an eco.
You love to see it. You really do, in fact.
Mate, do you know what, though, yeah? It's these rounds that we kind of, like, comedically point and laugh at James. Oh, yeah, nice one, mate, buying the AWP. Your team's on an eco. But this is a round where maybe he gets dropped an AWP in the next round. I don't think he will. But he could cause some serious damage here. And when OG's economy kind of standing on that glass platform where if it's made inexpensive enough, OG really won't have enough in the tank to go for another full rebuy to the same power that this one holds. I think James realises that. And that may be as to the reasoning of that investment. Fiku That mental clock counting down in his head. But it's James to count down the first kill. 34 seconds left. It's Outsiders with a man advantage. flameZ has been flanked out. Fame's found a second. And this is where the panic starts to settle because James found a third. It's the bomb of Fiku dying towards A. And the game of chase being played by the main player of Fame. Sure, the digits will be punched in. Fiku spammed down. In fact, the bomb plant will happen. But Dexter in the 1v5. And your worst nightmares, if you're OG, quite quickly become reality. It's going to be a save call for Dexter, but Qikert in from behind, and it's Outsiders that retain their advantage.
Yeah, you question those sort of buys for you know, picking up an AWP and an eco. It's so tough to find success. But James is perfectly kind of wielding the pawns around him to that success. I mentioned, you know, by using the pistols as sort of cannon fodder because it baits the attention and it allows James to pick up a double. A bit of timing works in favour of Outsiders too. The push through A to get that flanking towards mid's perfect. Rifles collected, and then from there, OG crumble. That should have been a surefire freebie for OG, for them to, you know, push things up towards 5, tie this game up, and further on from that, of course, break the economy of Outsiders, guarantee themselves to be kind of taking a bit of a lead further on, but it's not the case. OG are back to square one, back to the drawing board, as their buy, pretty poor. Only the pistols for them, and for Outsiders, on the other side, another round, which for them should be an attempt, or at least a guarantee, to extend the lead.
Mate, I'm spun a little bit. I literally called it as well. I was like, yeah, point and laugh at James Orp, but, you know, there's every chance that he makes it work. So well played. And yet again, it's his Orp to start the round. Fiku wanders out into the jaws of James. No win in that gunfight. The Eagle scooped up by his teammates. OG just going to try and make the best of what they have. It's pistols. No utility as well behind it. So for OG, just any effort towards a site, a bomb plant would be miraculous.
Yeah, safe to say there's quite a lot that OG are looking for in this round, and the kind of support they have to do so isn't the nicest. They're going to make their way back over towards ramp. It's looking like it's going to be a B finish. There's 4 players in close rotation, and to be perfectly honest as well, Fame can quite comfortably make his way through mid. No one there to kind of cut off his transition. A smoke in towards doors as well. Chunks that time down even more. That's 10-15 seconds starting to whisk away from OG. Getting a bomb plot is going to be so tough here.
Qikert. Quite the unorthodox angle. It's James that tries to bait him in, but actually, no kills to come between the rifle and the AWP. Norbert now going to try and hold things down. Brilliant first shot. In a second, it's laboured. Nexa will eventually trade. James, back of the site, 9 seconds, wants to deny the plan. It's his teammate that does good damage. Neofrag's Deagle going to hold him down. And it's just Fame here in the 1v2. Talk about James buying an AWP, and it was an eco win for Outsiders. This could be the biggest upset of the lot. Neofrag falls, Nexa turns, plenty of ammo in the chamber, for Nexa. And it's an AWP picked up. It's OG to 5, and it's an eco victory for the European side. Right back at you, Outsiders. They're second best on the CT side again.
That's a crumble. I mean, for Outsiders, that was a freebie. Even with the stacked site as well, they still failed to convert it. Yes, Jay misses that AWP shot, right, which opens a bit of space over towards Ram. Norbert's got to be good for 2 there. The fact that he isn't is really concerning. When the bomb goes down in the 1 versus 2, for Fame to convert that as well, tough. Potentially should have hit that second spray, but credit to Nexa. A little bit more crisp, makes it work. Full buy coming out both ways. But for Outsiders, they're going to be feeling the slight dismay after losing that one to just Eagles.
That is a real pain. Norbert going to make Neofrag suffer. First kill goes their way. OG, after winning an eco, off the back of it, picking up weapons. Outsiders go for the last-ditch buy where, should they win, it's OG that yet again put with the silver medal for Outsiders should they lose all of their guns. The wind knocks completely out of their sails. What a back and forth game we're watching. So interesting. I'm loving it. OG definitely bringing the fight to Outsiders, but let's not forget, for the CIS side, this isn't even their pick. They didn't even entertain the idea of Ancient. It was OG that brought it to the map pool.
It's been even so far, but I'm going to say the 5 rounds from OG on T side, a lot of the time, people would make arguments that is good enough. I think the way they've been playing so far, they're setting themselves up with good foundations to kickstart a brilliant play in towards their CT. Molly will come towards Donut. Figu trying to take initial point of contact, and he will. Flip to 4, Fame to on to back with one of his own. Numbers stay in favour of Outsiders, and now they're trying to play the buddy system and group up. If they can, however, actually Flame's got other ideas.
But look at this, now it's a whole pinch maneuver. You know, Flames has got the CT, the cutoff. OG can just forward face, allow Flames to come in from behind. Outsiders, if there was another player on A, you just wouldn't know where to keep your eyes. And for that, misfortune yet again, the burden for Outsiders. It's tie game, it's 6-all. And I mean, at one point this was 5-0 in favour of Outsiders. OG have done a brilliant job in responding and keeping composed on that T side. Things are looking lethal by the second. And the fact that it's 6-all and we've got 6 out of the last 7 rounds for OG now starts to put you in really, really good steading. I always like to check in. Now, you know I'm a big fan of percentages.
Go on.
Ancient being the most CT-sided map of the pool. I was having a look, right? Top 30 teams, I think that's only fair that I do it by that because both teams are in the top 30. The percentages of conversions from the 6-all rate, starting on the T side, 50%. It's a lot lower than you would expect. Yeah. It's still very much up in the air, statistically speaking. And I think what the game has been telling us as well, it really is a game that I don't think either side have looked second best in as of yet.
It's an even affair. It's how things have been padded out so far. I mean, this is very hard to call as well because for Outsiders, it kind of seems like they're playing a little bit of a late game strategy here in terms of keeping their economy in check. Again, that save call coming through. They want to have money to see things out, but Flame's going to open things up. Flip to 4. Norbert answers back with the MP9. Flame will be able to take himself back over towards that donor position.
Qikert, he'll fall to Neofrag. A 7th kill so far here on Ancient. A greatly placed flashbang. Fame could not turn away from that one whatsoever. But it's Norbert to wield a second AWP. And this could be, I don't know, a change that profits Outsiders a little bit more. It's a deeper investment, more expensive. But it's one that we haven't really seen yet from this Outsiders side in this matchup so far. OG have responded quite well. As you would expect, the usual names cropping up in the kill feed. flameZ and Neofrag, both of the kills. Fiku looking to join that list, and he will. He takes down the AWP of Jame. Fame, he's good for another. Norbert actually making things look a little more even, but OG, well, they made it look like B. The bomb always had the plans of running out A, and Fame, unfortunate timing, just as the bomb was going to cross. Nexa to punch in the digits.
2 versus 2. AWP slow in rotation as well. I mean, it's very reliant on Fame finding some early success here. Flames doesn't fall. This round sort of crumbles at the helm. Norbert, though, might have a little peek. Tapping above the box. Ding down to 1 point of HP. Fame wants nothing to do with it, but the nade has other ideas. He's dropped and leaves Norbert all alone, and of course, you can probably expect it. Outsiders are long gone. Norbert, going to be kept in play. Dropped over towards Jabin towards the next. And of course, it gives the lead back in favour to OG. They take a slim 1-round lead. But in the latter stages of this half, that's so important.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I'm a little bit disappointed in both teams in this round. I think it could have been a lot more dominant from OG. I think especially when you're in that 4v3, you know, you don't need to lose so many lives. For Outsiders, there was every chance. I mean, look how disconnected this mid play is. The opening kill, I think, going the way of flameZ, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's able to get the initial frag. No one trades out whatsoever. He's able to back away, keep his life. Neofrag finding a second kill. Brilliantly taken care of. And of course, as you said, it was Jame time. The AWP back in the hands of the mastermind of Outsiders. I say mastermind like they've played chess instead of checkers. OG seem to have the mental cut above. And I've got to give props to Nexa, right? On an individual level, he's not having a bad game. On top of that, though, his calling, the mid-round specifically for OG, has been really on point. Good control over his team. Guys, let's stop pushing. Let's stop getting aggressive. OG very tamed under the IGLing of Nexa. And they're starting to profit majorly from it. 7 rounds on the T side of Ancient. Starting to look a little bit scary here for Outsiders.
Yeah, it is. I think it's definitely a conversation to be had about Outsiders maybe not putting up as good of a CT as we would have hoped. Popping out towards the A site now. They've got a lot of space to work with, and Fame a lot on his shoulders to find some success and Flames. Other ideas, bomb to go down, a nice open plant, and the presence of the Outsiders has been minimalized.
Yeah, OG. maximum profit as well from this round. Not a single death in favour of the T side. Jame, as you would expect, trying to look for a way out. flameZ this time will knock on the door of the CIS AWP. It's Norbert on the other side of the map, saving the M4A1S. And although, again, you know, everyone's like, you know, classic outsiders. The money has been pretty good up until the whistle, really. You know, it's like every round we seem to have a buy. I can only think back to maybe like one eco round that outsiders have had. Every other time they've been pushing for M4s, pushing for AWPs, pushing for everything you could ask for a CT side full buy. And Norbert, Norbert making things expensive. 3 on the exit, and he's even going to get away with the M4A1S. A brilliant end of the round there, individually speaking, but being round number 15, OG have plenty of cash. They could afford to go hunting.
That's it. In AMA as well, OG, they guarantee themselves a lead at the half at the very least. 8 rounds on the board in T-side Ancient is very, very good. That's a strong performance. When you look at, as you were mentioning, this being the most CT-side map in the pool, may I say, you know, for them to get 8 rounds already is a really, really solid start. For outsiders, from what was a brilliant start, they've crumbled towards the middle and end parts of this first half, and if they don't turn things around in this 15th final to at least set up some stability, you get concerned. But it's Neofrag opening things up towards excavation, Qikert to fall, and Norbert just round the corner. He could follow soon to be 6 feet under momentarily, but Norbert, other ideas.
Nexa, look at this. It's a train holding shift. Fame, surprised as anything. Nexa walks right into the A site, catching them all off guard. Outsiders a man down. Retake required. The bomb yet to even go down. flameZ, unfortunate timing. Nexa will have his back covered though. And it is just looking good for OG to make it 9. Nexa forcing Norbert out with a molly. Fiku's assist. Nexa's third. And it's Jame in a 1v3. No saving in this round, fella. He's going to go for it. There's your first, spotting out Fiku as well. Nice wall bang down low. Goes for a second attempt, this time less successful than the last. But all the time, he's firing off into the boxes. It's just wasting time. No kit as well in the hands of Jame. And so a 9th is a certainty. OG, despite 5-0 down in the first half, a brilliant recovery in the tail end of the first 15. A 9-6 lead, extracting every drop of the juice they can of the first 15 rounds. We head to a break. When we are back, it's OG on the CT side of their map pick on Ancient. Can they close it out and put Outsiders a map down? We'll find out after this. Don't go anywhere.
Hey Future Pros! Taking mid as a T can open so many options while playing Ancient. Throwing mid smokes from spawn is quick, but also means you could be locked out if the CT's utility is on point. So these mid smokes I'll show you will be great for a slightly delayed mid take. For this mini execute you'll need 2 Future Pros, 2 smokes, and possibly a molly to be safe. Future Pro number 1. You'll be throwing the top mid smoke. To throw the smoke, position yourself so this wall meets the edge of this highlighted brick while crouched. Aim just below this dark spot on the edge of the shadow. Then jump throw the smoke. Not too hard, right? Future Pro number 2. You'll be throwing the donut, Lara, cube, whatever you want to call it smoke. To throw this, stand against the wall in the middle of this window frame. Find this gap in the trees and aim just to the left of the center of the opening. Then simply throw the smoke. Just like that, mid doorway and donut will be blocked. A note for these nades, it helps greatly if you have a fellow T somewhat holding the B lane so you can't be peeked from the ledge area. Also, if you don't have early info on the cutout position, lob a basic molly in there as a sneaky CT could really ruin your day.
Hope you're enjoying the tunes in that halftime break. We're about to get things underway for the second half. It's a 9-6 lead in favour of OG, and what a resurgence from them as well, Retro. I mean, things were looking pretty dire. 0-5 down, I thought things were done and dusted, but no, they've turned it around massively. And Outsiders, what was a strong lead, they've crumbled.
Neofrag out towards Cave, early fight. Feels like a little bit of a mirror image from the first pistol that we saw. OG were on the T side. It's this time on the CT side that Fiku gets aggressive and cracks open the coconut of the Outsiders. Behold, Fame, he'll be able to find one. Nor but a second, and despite OG falling with the man in favour, actually second best now at the minute 20 mark. Peeking in goes Fiku. He wants more blood, and he will succeed. Norbert's head taken off his shoulders, dodging a molly as well. Jame, that angle is going to be filthy. That bomb can make its way around. Flit's going to find Dexter. Now, they're all pinned down towards B. The bomb can make a free roam out towards the middle of the map. Fiku, as much as he wants to be on the hot of the heels of Fame, there's going to be no stopping this bomb plant, and he might just wander into Flit's crosshair as well.
A shot! Flit just picks Fiku out the sky like bird shooting. And Jane will see things out. That's a really nice pistol. The opening, the way in which they took early map control, isolated the fights and played the body system, and then, of course, a little bit of individual brilliance from Flit picks out Fiku. That's a really nice round. Very, very little you can say on a negative note for OG. They tried to go aggro, and it really worked against them when they pushed aggressively with players like flameZ falling and Fiku, of course, being picked off in rotation. OG just got outgunned. They lost their 50-50s, and it's allowed Outsiders slightly back into this game in a sense. Another pistol going their way, which gives them lots of money to work with, and the same can't be said up towards OG. Just a scout for them to work with.
Double nades chucked in, Neofrag dodging. Flit making his presence known with Jame here in middle. Of course, Outsiders having won the pistol, plenty of weaponry and utility to work with. OG bound to just these deagles, really. It's flameZ that holds the lion's share of spare utility. That's a great dink from Neofrag. That was, what, 90 odd damage done there? Qikert down to 3 points of health. He was tagged up from a nade earlier on. A brilliant turn of events. OG still putting up a fight here against Outsiders, but it's a 5v5. I think for the Europeans, they were hoping for a little bit more of an advantage than what they've been given here.
Back plat, position set up. Definitely some room for it to work with it, but it's a very, very slow tempo. I mean, for Outsiders, no mistakes they want to make at all. I mean, with Qikert low on HP, it does become a problem. Then we know how good these 5-7s are towards the A sites where the hit's going, though. Uto needs to clear the close angle. Nexa might be in for a couple of freebies, and he will. Finds the first, traded. Scout can't quite connect. Deagle pushed off back plat, but Dexter still has space towards Temple.
Flash, blind. Deagle's being reduced, and now that they've given up the sight, it really is a roll of the dice to see if OG can make it double digits. It'll be a massive round win and a steal. Dexter to find Norbert, but Jame just yakking away at those chances. Flit tagged up, the Scout and the Deagle. The methods that you would expect to work have come into fruition. 2 versus 2. Fiku still slipping into donut now. It's a tap of the bomb. Dexter going for the stick. It's a full 10-second hold. Someone's got to peek. Qikert, where are you running out? Fiku going to take the fight. Dexter continues to hold. And so the kills, they do come in late, but they do manage to find the round there. Outsiders up to an 8th.
Yeah, gotta say, that got a little bit closer than it maybe should have been, but in the grand scheme, Outsiders take a round. They took the deficit away to within 1. And of course, with OG investing heavily in towards that previous round, it means that Outsiders, in terms of firepower and what they can bring in towards round number 18, should be able to tie this game up. For the OG, it will at the very most be upgraded pistols, even picking up armor as a risk, because they want to stick around that 2k mark of economy to work with in towards round number 19. They're going to go for a gamble stack over towards B, and the bomb is making its presence sort of known over there too. They need to be careful. Lose control of the bomb, they might lose control of the round.
It's pistols for that OG side, which means we should be entering round 19 with a tie game. Qikert, 46 points of health on that Mac 10. Of course, he's just going to be the bait to this round, though. Just simply there to try and lure in these OG players and profit greatly with that Mac 10. $600 per kill you get. Don't forget, it's the cash cow of SMGs, I feel like. Cheapest out of every single one.
Of course.
And it feels like it's the best, honestly. Maybe the MP9 is better, but honestly, it's disgusting how good that gun is. Especially against unarmored opponents as well. You're going to have a field day.
Yeah, the Mic 10, it's so good. I'd say the MP9's slightly better just because that gun, that fire rate is insane. But yeah, the Mic 10's so good on the T side to farm some cash here. Messy, but Flit will be able to do so. Degster close as well. Gives away the ruse and Flit deletes him. Qikert will see off Fiku. This is nice and comfortable. A lot of money in the bank for Outsiders, in fact. And I think the way they play it coming in towards round 19 is off the back of a bonus. I think actually investing around those two, the two rifles they've got wouldn't actually be the best idea. Just play with the Mac 10s. Try go aggro. Try and guarantee a bomb plant. Because they know, regardless, they're building up a very, very stable long-term economy. But comfortable, as we expected. We didn't really assume too much of OG in towards round number 18. The investment was minimal. They're into the second part of their double eco, so they weren't going to bring too much to the table. But it does mean they've given up that kind of wealth of a lead they had at the half.
flameZ running right at middle. Smoke to give him a bit of space. A second one to develop deeper control of middle here. He decides to back away, recognizing he was the primary A holder. Gotta make sure he's in to support half of the map here. Nexa's rotated across as well. Middle is not held at all by the OT side. A bit of a gamble. Next up, he's going to find one. flameZ a second. Flit's SMG still kicking, despite OG having a full buy. It's James to plant the bomb. It's going to actually be Outsiders taking a 10th hit. OG with the numbers advantage. Nexa smoking a kit as well. Just got to make sure they get on that bomb pronto. A very developed hold here for Outsiders. Neo frag. He thinks he's got the flank. He has been flanked. Qikert. Nicely taken care of. Now 3 versus 3. Fiku trying to move forward. Flit takes him down. And as you would expect, despite the man advantage falling in favor of OG, Outsiders just so good, so quick. And the read that they had there on the OG mid push from Neo frag just gives them a 10th round and again wipes that CT economy.
That's a round where you say, you know, for Outsiders, a priority. Coming in towards that third round, get a bomb plant. Okay, that's fantastic. A couple of kills, great. You don't expect them to win it. To walk away with that round in their favor, a 10th on the board, considering that the investment for Outsiders was just a bonus. Whatever they had into the prior. 3 Mac 10s, a Galil and an AK, and they make it work in their favor. Credit to them. For OG, that's a missed opportunity to kind of regain the lead and restart a bit of momentum on their CT side. Concerning times, hence why the attack pauses call their economy back to a pretty uncomfortable state. You kind of see some of them could force invest, but I think it'd be very, very risky. Nectar to name one, he's got 4k in the bank, and he actually is going to go for a somewhat investment. He's picked up a scout, dropped over towards Dexter. He himself going to wield the 5-7, but they're going to stick around that sort of half buy. Keep our 2k in the bank with lost bonus. They'll have more than enough money in towards the next to buy. Does mean again that Outsiders, bit by bit, piece by piece, step by step, starting to pull away. Where for OG, from what was a strong first half of them, a strong T-side performance, that foundations they put up, they are starting to fall at their feet.
Do you know what? Yeah. I don't know if there's been an update overnight to Ancient or maybe
T-sided.
I've missed the memo, but this map apparently is like T-sided now. Like, what's happened?
It seems case we've kind of seen it. And also, as well, Ancient, I've got to say, I don't actually know the statistics, but in the last few days, I've seen Ancient more often than I do. I feel like it's been one of the most picked maps in both the best of ones and the best of threes too. So people are starting to get really fond of it.
Mate, you're testing my knowledge here.
I was having a little look, but I'm actually really not too sure. Just from my notice, it is the most picked. We've reached like confirmation. I did think so. You know, yesterday when we were covering Ancient when it was Fnatic B8, all 3 games simultaneously were on Ancient, and then the game after that also on Ancient. So yeah, the most picked map so far, Ancient, that's pretty cool to see that people have actually sort of incorporated into the pool.
Do you know what
the least is? Overpass? I feel like we haven't seen an overpass, or too many. Not sure.
Checking.
Go on.
Anyway, we'll let this round roll out because obviously it's an eco here for OG and they're already in a 3v5. So I was actually just looking, right, the maps across the RMRs, right? Ancient has been played 8 times in RMR A and only twice in RMR B. I think this is the 3rd map of RMR B. Dust 2 was played 10 times throughout RMRB so far. Least played map, you would be correct in saying it's Overpass. Only 6 times picked.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'm
Yes.
not. Well, it's surprising as well, actually, because you know, Overpass is such a middle ground map, right? It's one of those maps that most teams don't really mind playing. It's been in the pool for so long that everybody knows how to play it, and I would say Overpass is one of those maps that's not too commonly seen as an insta ban, right? So surprisingly,
Floater.
Yeah, exactly. It's a floater. So I was surprised to see that we haven't actually seen too much Overpass come through. Interesting though. Ancient being the most picked, the kind of the meta start to change. I wonder if that'll you know, continue on in towards Rio. Either way though, 9 to 11, it's been a pretty good T-side start for Outsiders. They have been really putting up some strong performances. Where for OG the response minimal, their impact as well being pretty minimal, all things considered. We're going to see a full buy coming out for the CT side. For OG, investments coming in. We see the rifles on display. An M4A4 for Fiku. Not often you see one of those wielded at the moment. And Dexter, of course, with the big green. OG desperately need to make it a 10th here. All this map number 1 starts to slip away from them.
OG, full buy. Certainly desperation starting to settle in for that CT side. M4A4 I've just clocked on Fiku's hands, so, you know, quite the unorthodox pickup. Sometimes it does work out. I think back to Bit, maybe on Nuke. Loves the A4. Qikert, able to neutralise things in the 4 versus 4. Smoke towards CT, goes deep as well. Outsiders given a lot of free reign on this site. flameZ and Neofrag isolated in cave. Bomb plants come out from Fame. And I don't think OG are going to have much of a say in this retake here because everyone's a little bit disconnected from one another. Nexa's coming through middle. Flit has that red into beautifully. Dexter in CT, if he's not careful, that orb could be removed from the round as well. And as you can see, he might just go for the save. Does he expect Flit to be here? I mean, both players making contact with one another. But that means that orb is just boxed in even further.
Another round where Outsiders change the tempo. It forces OG into a really awkward attempt at a retake, and they're playing for X's. They can't even afford to do so. This is becoming very concerning for OG. On their CT side, the crumble here has been pretty emphatic. And Outsiders are getting desperately close to seeing out this map, and we kind of already said, you know, for OG, Ancient seems like a little bit of a win factor. With Dust 2 being such a good map for Outsiders, we've seen kind of in the last 6 months or so being one of the maps that they put a very strong performances on, and of course the fact that Fame and Norbert also played it back in K23, so they themselves can more than happily keep up. You do get worried about what the response is going to be like in towards map number 2 if this does go the way of Outsiders. It really sets them up with the possibility and the potential to a 2-0 to kickstart all day here on the C stream. Tech pause call by OG. Needed, necessary, because it is starting to look very dire over there. They did save themselves some weapons, which is the positive note. 2 M4A1Ss and AWP still in play, but the support around it, again, pretty poor. Just a double deagle setup and a bit of utility for Nexa and Fiku to try and, as best they can, help those rifles into success.
Well, as you can see, Fiku and Nexa still have plenty of cash, right?
Yeah.
They could have bought M4s. Instead, this is an eco surrounding those save weapons, so everyone can buy in the next round. Actually, very intelligent from OG. Speaking of intelligent, flameZ just knows his timings, knows when to hold mouse 1, allowing Flit to wander right into his crosshair. And OG walk away with a man advantage. This timeout needs to be used effectively, because OG are running out of chances, and Jame, who better than just to find that frag through the smoke. Mental clock is on point. It's a 4 versus 4, the AWP through the smoke, picking up a level game.
Yeah, tempo's on right down now off the back of it as well. Outsiders, first time on their T side that we've kind of really seen early doors then be tested from a man disadvantaged position. Deggs on the jiggle peak as well. We know how quick his reactions are. Kicker needs to be extremely cautious. He's trying to just bait out an early shot. Get some sort of information, and a smoke is what he'll be met with. For Jame, utility going back his way. For Outsiders, with 50 seconds on the clock, this might even just be an early call to rotate backwards towards the A site. Look at the bomb. Fame is going for a long rotation all the way back over towards main. And Norbert's got space out towards CT. How's he got here?
But flameZ, he's in such a good position as long as Norbert doesn't see him, or if Fame can react, or if flameZ can react in time. Peeking in, and nope, 4-3, that's the curse, and that's the round shut. The chapter written in the name of Outsiders. I mean, they'll go for it, of course. Dexter might just save the AWP. But for the Deagles, there's no point keeping him into the next round. better used in the next. And as you can hear, Nexa's already trying to take an engagement, but it will be Qikert to win out the initial engagement. Fiku, Degster, nowhere to go. Just going to be left to cower and hide. Ultimately, Outsiders up to 13. As you mentioned, a brilliant flank from Norbert, taking down the only A hold. That's just going to grant them so much space and freedom. And indeed, a 13th. James keeping things consistent with the AWP. What a brilliant shot as well. Fiku pre-fires, finds 1 kill. Made a little more expensive. The AWP attempted to be safe here for Degster. James knows one too many things about that, and he will not allow it to happen.
You don't save against the saver. It doesn't happen. James, other ideas. And actually a really good call by Outsiders as well. They know by as much as they can drop in any rifle on exits. They've got money to work with. They've got heaps of it. They don't care at all. But trying to deny anything being saved across by OG means that in what is looking like now the latter stages of this map, they have such a stark advantage. Yes, the investment can come back forward from OG, but lose this round and they're back to an eco. That is what Outsiders are banking on. They're banking on the fact of breaking that economy and putting OG back into that horrible cycle that they started off their CT with. Whilst Outsiders, their CT performance for me, a little bit lackluster. All things, only 6 rounds for them. Their T side has been brilliant. The way in which they broke down this OG side has been perfect. And Neofrag walks straight into the trap of Jabe. Full blind, makes no difference. He finds the first.
Mate, through smokes, through flashes, through anything. James finding success. Degster, quick switching out, going aggressive with the AWP. Legs up, Qikert, goes back in Degster. I don't know. I mean, you have to force the issue, really, especially when you know you've tagged him up. But I would have thought at least it would have been the sidearm to be drawn out, not the AWP again. James, yeah, he's thinking about it, isn't he, through the smoke? Oh, my God. Fiku, a whisker away from death. But given the chance, flameZ now. Would he have heard that bomb being dropped in double haul? Either way, he's got to find 3 on his own. And it's only 1 bullet connecting to the chest of Fame. Fiku and Nexa left to save. This is looking like 14 for Outsiders. And things are developing to become quite the scary story. OG, we said Ancient was a dependency. But it's Outsiders that walk away with it independently.
That's the case, I think, for OG. Alarm bell starting to ring now. James going to find yet 1 more. Nexa walks straight into the scope. Fiku, he's long gone. Keep the M4 in play. Outsiders desperately don't really need to hunt this by any means. It doesn't really bother them too much because they know that the buy and the investment around it is going to be so minimal for OG coming forward. And the economy, look over towards that left-hand side. It is brutal. Neofrag, he's a rich man with $800. That's when, you know, things are going dire. For OG, they are crumbling. 5 rounds behind and they're on the more favoured CT side. Outsiders, 2 rounds away from seeing out their opponent's map pick and setting up a perfect notch under their belt, heading in towards theirs of Dust 2, a map in which we know they are formidable on. I think for OG, this is getting a real big cause for concern where they cannot seem to pull apart this Outsiders side so far, and credit to them as well. Impact player was Jane, but I think his impact so far in terms of his calling has been more important than his frags, and he's doing very well in the fragging department at 19-7. He has been, you know, pulling his own weight, but it's his mid-round calls that have been perfect. The adjustments that he's doing to really kind of piece apart OG is, you know, you have to say he's out-calling Nexa on a pretty formidable stance.
I think James is up there as one of the most talented IGLs. And especially when it comes, as you said, to the fragging department, it's not like he lacks there either.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Sometimes we see some IGLs drop off in terms of frag value. The only other people really coming to my mind on a consistent level that are fragging out and calling, maybe mezZ and Fnatic, right?
Yeah, mezZ. I think Karugane actually is a pretty good shot now. I mean, he's been doing pretty well because he plays also sort of entry at times too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you know, when you look towards that argument, oh, he's an IGL, so he doesn't have to frag. It's one which I don't really like. And speaking of fragging, Nexa, that was a painful watch as Fame gets a freebie. And I'm sure he's even surprised about it. But the bomb gets denied.
I mean, it's good. There is chances, but how have they gotten rid of this round chance? It's James holding off on Neofrag, baited in, AWP scooped up, but against 3, and on the other side of the map, he's going to have flank after flank, and updated information being fed through to the rest of Outsiders. It's Fame to get the information. Nexa had that entry, that opportunity gone the other way. You'd be looking at an entirely feasible scenario that OG walk away with a 10th. but they cannot seem to cancel the streak of outsiders. Neofrag will give it his best efforts, finds the first, good tag to a second. Qikert low, but it's Fame from behind to get the frag. Map point to the CIS side. Outsiders one away from pinching away the map pick of Ancient. It is in OG's name. But Outsiders seem to want to rewrite the history of this veto. And they want to get it done in 2. Of course, it's Dust 2 up next as well, which doesn't exactly fill OG fans with confidence.
And just as we were talking about IGL's fragging, right, we see Jane pick himself up 2 kills, and nexa, laboured spray becomes so costly because it opens up the A site. It's the harsh reality of the world that is Counter-Strike. Outsiders 1 notch away from taking a lovely map under their belt. And what a resurgence from them as well. 6 rounds is all they had at the halfway mark, and since then it has been a brilliant performance. OG are yet to get a round on CT side Ancient. Not often you can say that. A flawless showing from the Outsiders C side. And once again, there's that man we have to credit, Jane. The calling has been brilliant. Episodes of fragging. Him and Qikert on 21 kills apiece.
The last time the CT side won a round was in round 10. It was 5 consecutive from OG. 9 in a row from Outsiders. This time looks a little different. Fiku, Degstar, all with kills. Flit and Qikert. 2 versus 4, but a flank that could prove due diligence, excuse me, to this round. Flit, it's your first. They're going to start to wander into this A site. There is a second man holding it, none other than Degstar. A very quiet game from this man here. Needs to come up huge. A flashbang will prevent exactly that. Flit, good damage. Fiku finding the first. That's the bomb carrier as well. Flit, low HP. Is this going to be OG breaking the curse? I mean, even if it is, it just comes way too late in the cycle of the game to even get excited for OG here. Flit seems to have a rough idea. Degstar trying to force the issue. Moving around back and forth between the donut. It's just about burning time. Degstar's played this one well. Flip, nowhere to be seen. No chance of winning this one. It will be OG that walk away with a 10th, and Fiku delivering a full house between the 2 remaining players. 5 in a row required for OG, and that's a big hurdle to get there first.
Yeah, first CT side round on the board for OG. Can they use it as a catalyst to find more? I'm not exactly feeling too hopeful right now, but at the very least, it's better than nothing. Economy, the buy over towards Outside is not going to be affected really at all. They are absolutely stinking rich. They've got so much money to work with, so not a problem for them. The ult picked up once again by James, so they are doing absolutely fine. For OG, it is still a slightly dicey buy in the terms that they don't have an AWP, and flameZ is wielding an MP9. It's not exactly the most comfortable of facets, to say the least. James now peeking out towards back plat, nothing to be spotted over towards that stairs position. He can just park up.
I mean, talking about that MP9, it was Degstar that had one in the last round, right? I'm pretty sure. Or Fiku.
No, he had an MP, yeah, he had an M4 A1S, Degstar. The opening double, the M4.
Yeah. So, oh, okay, flameZ. It's okay. We'll pretend we didn't see it. We'll just say it was a nade to cause a distraction to get him back into the cave systems. Good wallbang. Norbert down to 2 points of health. 2 HP. No man advantage falling in favour of either party. Qikert looking to create said party. Molotov leaving both players in cave in complete isolation. Neofrag for 1. Probably looking at his teammates' monitor, and it's flameZ again, that MP9 causing issues. James swings out. flameZ makes him second best. And there you have it, 2 versus 4. Degstar seems to have the read on Flit's position. Didn't quite expect him to be that deep though. Next, he's able to hold the cross, and this will transition quite nicely for OG's 11th. Again, piecing 2 together is good. Money's still pretty good for Outsiders for another buy. But I think now this is going to be a couple of raised eyebrows for the Outsiders fans. OG are wiggling their way back into this.
They're at least making a conversation about it, right? This is much better on the CT side. They're finding those kind of just... It's a classic thing of just they're winning out their duels. I mean, flameZ again stepping up. We kind of question the MP9 investment coming towards this round. And it works. So fair play to them, Norbert. Kind of keep the open play. I'm sure he will be able to. I don't really see too much of a hunt coming forward to try and deny this one out. It won't make too much of a difference towards Outsiders in terms of they can buy again. The AWP will be dropped back over towards Jame, and I'm sure Norbert will get an AK in response. But yeah, you know, for OG, this is much better. The way in which they're approaching this CT side is becoming quite successful. Yes, Neofrag gets quite fortunate there, but it baits them straight in towards the hands of flameZ. The MP9 putting up good work, and that's all that matters. For now, we can just sing the praises of OG finally finding CT success and consecutive CT success, but it needs to be even more. And for Outsiders, they're going to hold all that progress, all that momentum as best they can. Attack pause called for them, their third use to just then try and deny this running away from them because they're so close to the finish line now.
I'm just trying to think of how many times I've seen flameZ or Jame in that top spot for Impact player, you know?
Yeah.
Feels like round after round, you can't escape it. Round 26, flameZ the big man. And I think Outsiders starting to realise this as well. They call for a pause. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Money starting to dwindle at a drastic rate. Let's ensure that the next steps are careful. OG, they have a full buy as well. We've got to make sure we position ourselves correctly. Outsiders had a brilliant run of the grain on their T side. As we said earlier, quite a cool stat line. 9 in a row for Outsiders on their T side. OG at one point were 9-6 ahead heading onto that CT side. But in the swing of things, Outsiders have looked pretty definitive here in this second half.
That's safe to say. Qikert takes some early damage as well, and even a little bbit more off the back of the nade. Starts the round off at 59 points of HP. Not exactly the dream. Flit has taken a little bit of a chunk too, which makes the M4A1S of flameZ, or the M4 of Neofrag, a bit of a problem. One try shot potential. For now. Tempo slowed right down. James going to go over towards ramp. He's got some space in towards backside too. Everyone peeks in, they get punished.
It's all empty spam for both parties in cave. Jame slipping into the corner. I'm wondering, is this an oversight by OG? Right now, just trying to pepper things down. Outsiders not really giving away much of their game plan here in round 27. Flit has made his way into a beautiful position. Dexter, you've got to expect this. No one was holding the cross. Died to this angle before. Flit, oh, it's just about timing. All about playing the mind games as Flit wanders in. He's going to have such a gap to work with. A is going to be in shambles. He's going to be calling the bomb across. This is no Jame call. This is Flit's demeanor. As his shadow just looms over OG. Their whole map of Ancient in limbo. flameZ goes aggressive. Flit doesn't make the drop sound. Nexa's holding CT. This is a game of timing. flameZ finding the first. Flit up close. Nexa's got him covered. And another dink. And a triple kill for Nexa. How does this round go in favour of OG? You thought Outsiders had all the right pieces to the puzzle. But instead, it's OG that whittle away. Outsiders second best. Read into like a book or fortune. It doesn't matter how it comes. It's OG that dismantle the CIS side. It's 12 on the board. It's a chance.
Oh, James very nearly loses that AWP in the save as well. But what happened there was Flit, everything was right until he went for that, the pick on towards Nexa. If he just starts things off with killing Flame or kind of, clearing that position first, he wraps back in towards CT, which he's sort of already cleared, and he gets caught a little bit in timing. But I think what happens there is he should have prioritized trying to clear that main player, trying to clear over towards kind of flameZ, for example, who he spotted crossing. Instead, he wraps back to try and catch Nexa, and that's what's so costly because it gives flameZ the opportunity to kickstart things. They're rushing over towards the B side. They're trying to get a bomb plant. Fiku for the first. Dexter trying to support, but it's a Fiku double to open things up.
Going for the plant. Good damage. Dexter. Oh, it's brilliant. It's exceptional from Dexter. Now we're getting fired up, OG. We're starting to see what they do on the CT side of Ancient. They're not done just yet. Another map point sound in our ears, but this time with a little more meaning. OG, they're going to be met with an investment, but one that could be very easily hollowed out and force Outsiders into a bit of a panic. What a round. No bomb plant. That's massive. What a hat-trick from Dexter. That was his 9th kill in the entirety of Ancient, but probably the most important one of the lot.
We are right on the cusp of OG pushing us towards OT. Economy for Outsiders in a little bit of a dicey space too. No bomb plant would make things all the more uncomfortable. And an aggressive stance by flameZ as well. A slight gap in that smoke. Flit needs to be so careful here. Dancing with death a little bit. As Flit will take an initial point of damage. Bit of a spam coming through. For Outsiders, they know that they were in a prime opportunity at 15-9 to see this game out. And now OG are within reaching distance of pushing us towards OT.
We're starting to see OG find comfort, you know? They're looking like a team that want to win. Neofrag getting dinked. Oh my god! Gotta be careful, Neofrag. Risking his life, sticking around for even half a second longer. longer. He was dead meat. He slips the net. He's able to escape the clutches of outsiders. Now, is this where they can start to whittle away at that T side? The nades doing little bits of damage, but it all adds up. Neofrag 1 for 1 with Fame. And a second shot from Neofrag, nearly a third. Flit, he responds. 3 versus 3. They're going to plod and waddle out towards this B site here, outsiders. Bomb will go down. The spam's attempted. Flame's gone. Dexter eliminated. And it all falls on the mastermind of Nexa. A clutch required. A 1v3. A massive chance and decent timing. Spotting out Jane, but his position updated. Qikert will have his head off. And you thought OG might have had it. But it's outsiders where it matters most. Clutching it back. And they bring a map win to their name. OG's map pick, despite being very, very close. They fall at the final hurdle. 29 rounds. But that's all outsiders need to take map 1 of Ancient. It's their pick of Dust 2 up next as well. And it is OG that probably head into Meltdown. A 10-15 minute break to discuss and pick apart what went wrong. And they need to pick up on set.